Top 10 Cheapest Helicopters in the World 2023. Helicopters are more expensive than planes because of the extra complexity they provide. The rotors are the first component to consider, as they are more complex and must comply with stringent safety rules. When you buy a helicopter once, you'll pay the same amount every time you want to fly in one. Helicopters have a greater crash rate than private planes, so insurance premiums are often exorbitant, and that's before you take in the expensive expenditures of maintenance and fuel. To reach the clouds, though, is worth the effort. Whether or not you should buy a helicopter is not a question I can help you with. You could buy one of these rotorcraft, but only if you had the necessary funds. As a result of developments like lighter helicopters and do-it-yourself kits, the overall cost of helicopters has decreased. Having fewer seats and a smaller footprint will reduce the machine's price. Kit helicopters and fully assembled models are both included. Although some of them are military planes, most of them are commercial airlines. Eurocopter EC120, $1.4 million. With the exception of the S3350/H125, Eurocopter is not widely known for producing affordable helicopters. In spite of this, the EC120 Colibri is among the most reasonably priced helicopters available. The Llama and Gazelle helicopter families were getting old, and Aerospatiale learned that a replacement was not likely in the late 1980s. Thus, a brand new 5-seat utility helicopter named the P120 made its debut. By the 1990s, Airbus had absorbed Aerospatiale, resulting in the creation of Eurocopter, now Airbus Helicopters. To start out strong, the P120 was renamed the EC120 and released. The EC120 could go 727 kilometers 452 miles at a speed of 191 kilometers per hour, 119 miles per hour. In an effort to boost sales, Eurocopter has set the EC120's price at $1.4 million. Augusta Westland A009, $1.3 million. The A009 was initially used by the Polish Air Force as the PZL SW4. Due to Augusta Westland's acquisition of PZL in 2016, the SW4 was renamed the A009 for the commercial market. Similar to how successfully the SW4 has performed as a military chopper, the modified A009 has been a very successful commercial helicopter. The A009 is used by many of the few news crews still use helicopters. This is in part because the A009 is one of the most cost-effective helicopters available. Its $1.3 million purchase price and $200 per hour operating cost make it the ideal choice for journalistic organizations and aviation schools. In addition to all of this, A009 has a top speed of 260 km per hour, 161 miles per hour, and a range of 790 kilometers 490 miles. As a result, it has emerged as the favored mode of VIP transportation. MD-500E, $1.1 million. McDonnell Douglas is better recognized for its airliners than its helicopters, which are less well known, like the DC-10 and MD-11. They nevertheless developed the MD-500, one of the most reasonably priced helicopters ever. The MD-500 was initially created by Hughes Aircraft Company as a small surveillance helicopter. The MD-500 was effective in this endeavor because it was substantially more dependable and inexpensive than its competitors. McDonnell Douglas bid seemed too low, given their inability to make a profit on the helicopter and repeated cost overruns. As a result, the U.S. Army decreased its order. Instead, many media outlets and police departments bought the MD-500 because of its fast speed, high service ceiling, and exceptional range. Additionally, they purchased it since it cost $1.1 million and had room for 5 people, including a pilot. Bell 505 Jet Range X, $1.07 million. I would choose the Bell 505 if I had the means and the power to command any of the helicopters featured in the article. due to its features and the fact that it is one of the most reasonably priced helicopters on the planet. In the early 2010s, Bell discovered that several of its light helicopters were getting old and needed replacements right away. Bell built just one light helicopter as opposed to many more to replace the many others. Depending on the intended usage of the helicopter, the factory can modify it to meet your requirements. In order to carry out these duties, Bell designed it to fly at 232 km per hour, 144 miles per hour, at a range of 617 km 383 miles. The Bell 505 is also one of the heaviest helicopters in the world, weighing in at 2,030 pounds 4,475 kilograms when carrying 2 tons of cargo or 4 people. In order to boost sales, Bell only charges $1.07 million for the Bell 505. Robinson R66, $935,900. The Robinson Helicopter Company manufactures some of the most cheap helicopters in the world. The R66 is identical. Like other Robinson helicopters, the R66 is a utility and training helicopter. Following the commercial and critical successes of the R22 and R44, Robinson decided to reintroduce a new helicopter. The R44 was modified to become this helicopter, known as the R66. In contrast to the piston-powered R22 and R44, the R66 is a turbine-powered vehicle. The R66 can carry 4 people or 1,200 pounds 540 kilograms of freight because of its longer fuselage than the R44. The R66's 648 kilometers 402 miles range and 200 kilometers per hour, 130 miles per hour, top speed increase its range and speed to 650 kilometers 400 miles. The total price is a mere $935,900. Bell 206, $900,000. The Bell 206 was first designed as a small reconnaissance helicopter for the U.S. Army. However, the U.S. Army chose another Bell design and expressed little interest in the helicopter. Other start-up companies expressed interest after seeing the 206's specifications, but they didn't like how the body looked. The exterior of the airframe was immediately altered by Bell, who then unveiled it as the Bell 206. Because of its previous military employment, the 206 was one of the quickest and had one of the longest ranges of any helicopter at the time. Bell also sweetened the deal by charging the 206 just $900,000. The Bell 206 provides more space for one pilot and up to 4 passengers than many other news teams' helicopters. Since then, police departments have come to really like using them as VIP transports and pursuit helicopters. Sikorsky Schweitzer S33, $698,000. The Bell 206 series is slightly more expensive than the Sikorsky Schweitzer S33. The cost of this chopper is approximately $698,000. Actually, the first helicopter was created by Sikorsky. Igor Sikorsky, a Russian-American inventor who was born in Ukraine, created this flying device in 1939. The Sikorsky business, however, has not sat back on its historical success and is still making advances in the helicopter industry. The Schweitzer Company, an aviation business that Sikorsky acquired in the early 21st century, actually created the Sikorsky Schweitzer S33 first. Sikorsky made improvements to the design in addition to adding its name. A quick, light helicopter that may be utilized for both military and civilian missions was the end product. It is a well-liked aircraft for flight schools since it is simple to fly. Robinson R44, $505,900. In addition to the Robinson R66, Robinson Helicopter Company also produced the Robinson R44, whose design served as an inspiration for the R66. Like the Robinson R66, the Robinson R44 is among the most affordable helicopters in existence. they decided to capitalize on Robinson's R-22 Triumph, more on that in a moment. Here, the fuselage was extended, and the engines and rotors were improved. As a result, the R-44 could accommodate 3 passengers and 1 crew member. Because of this, law enforcement agencies, air forces, corporations, flying clubs, and general aviation helicopter pilots all adore it. Robinson planned for the R-44 to have a 200 km per hour, 130 miles per hour, range of 560 km 347 miles. Robinson set the R-44's price at $505,900 in order to make it even more alluring than its competitors. Enstrom TH180, $400,000. One of the most cutting-edge businesses in the helicopter design industry is Enstrom. It is most known for its compact, single-engine designs that continue to push the limits of capacity. The Enstrom TH180, one of the most well-liked variants, is also among the most reasonably priced at $400,000 per unit. One of Enstrom's most recent models, the TH180, is lighter and more streamlined than earlier iterations. Despite its diminutive size, it possesses a respectable range and speed. Before all the specifications were even announced, numerous flight schools pre-ordered this model due to the intense anticipation around it. The two-seater TH180, like many of Enstrom's helicopters, is well liked by flying schools. Learning to fly is simple for newbies.